turbocharger is a device that increases the power output of an internal combustion engine by compressing the incoming air before it enters the engine's cylinders. It is essentially a turbine that is driven by the engine's exhaust gases, which in turn powers a compressor that increases the pressure and density of the air that enters the engine. This results in a higher mass of air and more fuel being burned in each engine cycle, which produces more power. Turbochargers are commonly used in high-performance sports cars, race cars, and diesel engines in trucks and heavy machinery. They can improve the engine's efficiency, increase its power output, and reduce fuel consumption and emissions. However, they also create additional stress on the engine and can cause increased wear and tear, which is why it's important to maintain them properly and use them within the engine's recommended limits. Let's now see how this turbocharger works. A turbocharger works by compressing the air that enters the engine's cylinders, allowing more fuel to be burned and creating more power. Here's a simplified explanation of how a turbocharger works. Number 1. Exhaust gases from the engine flow through the turbine side of the turbocharger, causing the turbine to spin. Number 2. The spinning turbine is connected to a shaft, which rotates the compressor side of the turbocharger. Number 3. The compressor takes in air from the atmosphere and compresses it before sending it to the engine's intake manifold. Number 4. The compressed air is then mixed with fuel in the engine's cylinders and ignited, creating a more powerful combustion process. The compressed air from the turbocharger is denser than the air that would be naturally aspirated, not compressed, allowing more oxygen to be delivered to the engine. This leads to a greater amount of fuel being burned in each combustion cycle, resulting in more power output from the engine. Now, let's see the main parts of turbocharger. The main components of a turbocharger include: Number 1. Turbine housing. This is the housing that contains the turbine wheel and directs the exhaust gases into the turbine. Number 2. Turbine wheel. This is a wheel with fins that is spun by the exhaust gases flowing from the engine. The turbine wheel is connected to the compressor wheel by a shaft. Number 3. Compressor housing. This is the housing that contains the compressor wheel and directs air into the compressor. Number 4. Compressor wheel. This is a wheel with fins that compresses the air entering the turbocharger and sends it into the engine's intake manifold. Number 5. Shaft. This is the component that connects the turbine wheel to the compressor wheel. Number 6. Bearings. These are the components that allow the shaft to rotate smoothly within the turbocharger. Number 7. Wastegate. This is a valve that controls the flow of exhaust gases to the turbine, which in turn controls the speed of the turbocharger. Number 8. Intercooler. This is a device that cools the compressed air before it enters the engine, increasing its density and allowing more air to enter the engine's cylinders. Number 9. Oil supply and return lines. These lines supply oil to the turbocharger for lubrication and cooling, and return the oil to the engine's oil system. Number 10. Turbine. The turbine is the component that is driven by the engine's exhaust gases. It is made up of a series of blades that spin in response to the flow of exhaust gases. The spinning motion of the turbine is used to power the compressor.